This is ESPN, the network for thoroughbred racing.
Baltimore. It is a city of traditions. From Fort McHenry, where Francis Scott Key penned our national anthem in 1812, to the magnificently renovated Inner Harbor that has revitalized the downtown area of this 263-year-old city. The sports traditions here include Old Memorial Stadium, dated back to 1954 as the city's Major League Baseball home, and now has given way to a new tradition of Oriole Park at Camden Yards. But there is no sports tradition older in Baltimore than Old Hilltop. Pimlico Racecourse, the second oldest center of thoroughbred racing in America, dating back to 1870. And one of this track's proudest traditions is a race known as the Pimlico Special. It dates back to 1937, won by that year's Triple Crown winner, War Admiral. The next year, the Special became a national event when Seabiscuit beat War Admiral in a memorable match race. This race was then discontinued after 1958 and revived again 30 years later. 11 winners of the Pimlico Special have been honored as America's Horse of the Year, and 9 have been enshrined in racing's Hall of Fame. Today, a proud Baltimore tradition continues as we celebrate again the Pimlico Special. ESPN presents Budweiser Racing Across America. Brought to you by Budweiser. Nothing beats the excitement of horse racing, and nothing beats a Bud. By the Breeders' Cup, racing's $10 million championship. Wagner, makers of quality power painters, power rollers, power washers. By the Daily Racing Form, paper to read when you're playing to win. And by the DeBartolo Corporation, leading the way to the 21st century. Welcome to Maryland and the start of the most important week of racing at this historic track. It begins today with the Pimlico Special. It ends next Saturday with the 117th Preakness Stakes, the second jewel of racing's Triple Crown. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. The Pimlico Special trophies are here. We're at the cupola where the Preakness winner will be crowned next week, and bringing you a racing doubleheader live here this afternoon on ESPN. We'll feature in about 8 minutes the Illinois Derby from Sportsman's Park in Cicero, Illinois, a $500,000 event. Then back to Maryland here for the 10th race on the card, the Pimlico Special. Now, the Special is the 4th event in the 1992 American Championship Racing Series, a 9-race series worth $7.7 million, and the top 4-point earners at the end of the year divide up another $1.5 million. Here are the point leaders through 3 events. We've had races in California, in Florida, and at Oaklawn Park in Arkansas. And Best Pal is the best of them all right now with 2 victories and 20 points. The weather, well, we've gotten kind of a break. It was a forecast of rain today, a bit overcast, but the wind has dropped down. Looks like no rain for the Pimlico Special. The track, after rain yesterday, opened to sloppy, went to muddy, went to good, and now has been upgraded to fast for the Pimlico Special. It is now for the Special a $700,000 purse here today, guaranteed $420,000 to the winner of this Grade 1 event. It's thoroughbreds 4 and up, going 1 mile and 3/16. Those are the conditions. Let's meet the field now as we go trackside and join my colleagues, Dave Johnson and Charles C. Canty.
Well, Charles, one of the great things about coming to Pimlico is the history that surrounds their stakes races. And this one goes back to 1937.
It was conceived by Alfred Vanderbilt as a midweek feature, and it quickly developed into what it is today. Special.
And in its early runnings, very small fields, 2- and 3-horse fields, and 2 walkovers, Whirl Away and Citation. It was winner take all back then.
Well, in those days, the purse was like $10,000 or $15,000. Today, it's $700,000. Now, the winner takes a lot, but he doesn't get it all, so we've got a bunch of challengers.
Let's see who's going to be in the Pimlico Special of this year, drawing the rail. Defensive play, 6-1 with David Flores. Twilight Agenda, second choice at 4 with McCarron. Ibero with Alex Solis at 12. Strike the Gold at 8 with Craig Perrette aboard. Fly So Free starts at 6 with Jose Santos. Valley Crossing, the local horse, and the long shot at 20 with Edgar Prado. And there's the morning line favorite. Kent DeSormo rides the even money choice, Best Pal. There was a hiatus in this race from 58 through 88, but if Forgo and Kelso would have had the Pimlico special to run in, you know they would have been a part of it. Now, a lot of folks are talking about Best Pal in the same breath as Forgo and Kelso. A lot of similarities, all geldings, all with that late kick, but a few differences, too.
Well, one difference is that Best Pal was good enough to be a really good 2-year-old. He won half a dozen races. He was California juvenile champion, whereas Forgo and Kelso never really materialized until late in their 3-year-old year. But the big difference is weight. Best Pal has 126 pounds today. These days, that's kind of an impost, whereas Forgo and Kelso routinely carried upwards of 130 pounds. I mean, who's going to forget Forgo carrying 137 pounds in the Marlboro Cup? But unfortunately, handicaps are falling from favor, and the days of the great weight carriers are gone.
So Best Pal gives some pretty good horses quite a bit of weight this afternoon at the distance. And the distance?
1 mile and 3/16, just like the Preakness next week. So you need speed here at Pimlico, but you got to have stamina, too.
And the route they will take, a long run to the first turn, since the starting gate is up at the top of the stretch. Yes, the turns are tighter and sharper than most 1-mile ovals, but a long run down the backstretch. And then when they finally hit the top of the stretch, 1,152 feet from the turn all the way to the finish line. Chris, this is no bull ring here this afternoon.
Well, Dave, they used to have a bull ring at Sportsman's Park in Cicero, Illinois, 5/8 of a mile. It's been expanded now to 7/8 of a mile. And that's where they're going to run the $500,000 Illinois Derby. We'll be going to Sportsman's Park live when we come back on Budweiser Racing Across America. We're live on the infield at Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, Maryland. Budweiser Racing Across America welcomes you to our coverage of the Pimlico Special. It's the 10th race on the card here. But before that, and before we start giving away some of the big trophies up here, we're ready to go to Sportsman's Park in Cicero, Illinois for the $500,000 Illinois Derby. Let's take a look at the race conditions there for Illinois' richest 3-year-old event. It's grade 2. The 3-year-olds, the Derby horses, going 1 mile and 1/8. You understand, beautiful weather and a fast track at Sportsman's Park. And Dave Johnson's going to look at a big field running for the Illinois Derby.
And drawing the rail, American Chance, ridden by a jockey, Pat Day. You may remember him. He won the Kentucky Derby last Saturday afternoon, 2-1 right now at post time. Just for the record at 15, a talented New York Invader with Richard Migliori. Straight to Bed with Corey Nakatani at 22-1. Boots and Buck at 24. The 5-horse is Desert Force, who was 3rd behind Pine Bluff and Lil E.T. last out in the Arkansas Derby, and is 5-1. Scratch the 6-horse, Dining with Stars, 7. Special Buck at 11. Vying Victor at 5-2. Dignitas is the 9-horse at 14. Bright Day Bob at 8. Dancin' Jake is at 21-1. And the Mutual Field of Competitive Edge, Gee He Can Dance and Timeless Design, 3 for the price of 1, 23-1. Looks to me like a 3-horse field. American Chance, who last out was a 6-length winner of the Lafayette. Straight to Bed, who stumbled at the start of the Derby trial and has quick early speed from California and is a price. And my #1 pick, Desert Force, who has weight off and was 3rd in the Arkansas Derby last out. An interesting field of 13 on the fast track at Sportsman's, Chris.
Well, this is the final day of the season at Sportsman's Park. A very successful 73-day meeting. Our congratulations to Stormy Bidwell and his staff there. They are up over 14% in their total average handle, handling like $2.4 million a day. And, of course, this is the new expanded track, 7/8 of a mile, with the longest stretch in North American racing, 1,436 feet. Chelsea, your thoughts on the Illinois Derby at Sportsman's?
Well, I like this colt of Rusty Arnold's, Dignitas. He was a good 3rd behind Allie Deed in the Derby trial last time out. And Jerry Bailey, who's riding him, has got a tremendous record there in the Illinois Derby. So he's my pick for an upset.
I'm a bit surprised at Vying Victor. We saw win the Remington Park Derby, run 2nd to Lil E.T. in the Jim Beam Stakes, as such a big price hit off in the morning line at 5-1. There you see him loading up here at Sportsman's Park, as Dave mentioned. It is a fast track there. They have set records the last couple years there, and who knows, with the new surface, may as well. Phil Georgieff, the man who is the voice of Illinois racing, we'll go to him now and pick him up as they load for the Illinois Derby. $500,000 on the line. Let's go to Illinois.
And now Vine Victor. Vine Victor, the solid second choice at 5-2. Right now, American Chance. The 8-5 favorite, Vine Victor, is in. Dignitas, Bright Day Bob, then Dancing Jake, and the last one will be Timeless Design. They're loading up for the Illinois Derby, and now they're all in, and they're off. And they're away in fine order. Out of Liberty down along the rail, American Chance. Right there with the leader is Straight to Bed, and way on the outside. Coming on now is Timeless Design. As they thunder past the stands now for the first time. Straight to Bed from between horses, American Chance. Down along the rail, Timeless Design, Vine Victor. Right there in fourth, Desert Force. Down along the rail, fifth, Dignitas out there, sixth, Tikini Dance. Racing now in seventh, Bright Day Bob. To the outside now in eighth, followed by Boots and Buck. Down along the rail, racing now in ninth. To the outside, that is still Dancing Jake. Racing now in 10th. Trailing the field, this Special Buck. He's maybe 15, 18 lengths off the lead. American Chance settles up the backstretch with a half-length lead. Straight to Bed. Right there, second. Timeless Design out there, third. Desert Force attacks down along the rail into contention now, third. Vine Victor looks for racing room now in fifth. That's Dignitas to the outside, racing now in sixth. Also on the move is Bright Day Bob, less than a half mile to go. American Chance Straight to Bed, racing at him on the outside, Desert Force. Right there, and Vine Victor wants racing room, and to the outside, Timeless Chance. Around the fire turn, they go Straight to Bed. On the outside, puts a head in front, but American Chance fights back doggedly. Desert Force, Vine Victor, now shakes loose. Here they come, spinning out of the turn, Straight to Bed. On the outside, has it ahead, American Chance. Right there in second, Vine Victor. Joins the fray to the outside, third, Dignitas. Also tries to make a race of it. Now in fourth, just for the record, to the outside in fifth. Down the stretch, coming to the eighth ball. American Chance comes back down along the rail. Straight to Bed, and here's Dignitas. To the outside, third, second, Dignitas. Pouring it on, Dignitas. Drawing clear, then American Chance. Straight to Bed. Let's hear it for Dignitas. Jerry Bailey by 3. American Chance second. Straight to Bed third. Running time, 1:49 flat. That's the Illinois Derby from Sportsman.
Thank you, Phil Georgieff. Jerry Bailey has just become the first three-time winner in the history of the Illinois Derby. He won it last year with Richmond. He won it in 1988 with Proper Reality. And Dignitas, trained by Rusty Arnold and owned by John Peace, has the unofficial win in the Illinois Derby. And Charles C. Kennedy, let's take a look. It's rather rough down the stretch at Sportsman's.
Well, a little bumping going on. These two horses head and head on the lead there. Straight to Bed, who had shown so much speed, and American Chance, they're sort of bouncing off of each other. But as they come through the stretch, Dignitas has found a little racing room, gotten loose, and kind of unleashes a good run. He's got a good long stretch. Only his fifth lifetime start makes Ali Deed look good. He may run in the Preakness, but this colt is coming to himself.
The 3-year-old son of In Reality, Dignitas, the unofficial winner of the Illinois Derby. We'll be back to make things official as our Pimlico special horses start to arrive here in Maryland. ESPN welcomes you back to our coverage of the Illinois Derby. Live here in the winner's circle, Jerry Bailey holding the Illinois Derby trophy is Governor Jim Edgar, great friend of racing there in the state of Illinois. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. Dignitas in 1:49 for the mile and an eighth. American Chance with Pat Day second. Straight to Bed was third. Our congratulations. Dignitas, owned by John Peace and trained by the Kentuckian Rusty Arnold. Well, we're waiting to make that race official for you. We'll look ahead a bit to our Pimlico special. We showed you earlier some of the horses starting to arrive now in the infield where they'll be saddling. Now, this race is really about two kings, I guess you might be able to say. One is the current king of American thoroughbred racing as far as the racehorse goes, and that is Best Pal, the #1 ranked thoroughbred in America. The other is the king of this Pimlico special event. He's won the last two. He is trainer D. Wayne Lucas. Best Pal's Oaklawn handicap victory kept him undefeated in 4 starts this year as he won his 3rd Grade 1 stakes race in a row. Notched his 2nd American Championship Racing Series triumph. And he's done all that with 2 bad feet.
Yeah, you guys better beware because I don't have any excuses going into this one. He's training perfect. I'm really happy with the way he's gone here and the way he's worked here and the way he's doing, so beware.
And Best Pal has to beware of this man, trainer D. Wayne Lucas. In 1990, Lucas's Horse of the Year, Criminal Type, outfought Grumman in the stretch to win the special. Last year, Team Lucas sent out Farmaway, the eventual ACRS points champion, for a 3-length victory. Now he's back with Twilight Agenda to try to win 3 Pimlico specials in a row.
There was a couple people said maybe it's a 3-peat, but every time I look at one of these athletic teams that are going for a 3-peat, it doesn't turn out that way. So I don't know of any 3-peats that have anybody's had the trifecta work. But you know, we're competitive as hell here. You know, we got a really good horse. He's a horse that might adapt to this track very well, and we could pull off maybe 3 in a row, but it's a tough job.
Twilight Agenda has a 2nd and a 3rd in his 2 ACRS starts this year. It stands as the morning line's 2nd choice behind Best Pal. And Gary Jones is well aware that Best Pal has more to worry about than just Lucas's stable star.
You got to always worry. You know, when you look at the talent in the race, top to bottom, you got a Derby winner, you got a 2-year-old champion, you got Hall of Fame trainer McAnally here, you got future Hall of Famer with Lucas, you got Frankel over there, he's tough all the time. It's just, you know, those guys aren't here for no reason. They're smart, so you got to be worried about them, you know.
The one unknown factor for the Best Pal camp is this Pimlico racing surface. This is where the California gelding suffered the worst defeat of his 22-race career. He ran 5th, beaten 11 lengths in last year's Preakness. Owner John Mabey made the decision to come back to Pimlico and try again.
I thought last year that we went into the race very, very confident, and I thought he was a good shot at winning, and he didn't run his race at all. I just feel that it was a bad day for the horse, and that he will come back here and redeem himself this year, and I want to see that day happen.
Jones has never been more confident that that day is today.
Well, he's the best. I mean, he's the most consistent, you know. I mean, I had Turco Man, who I thought was equally as brilliant, but he was maybe not quite as consistent, you know. But Best Pal, he makes trainers look good. You know, I mean, he knows what he's supposed to do, and he really wants to do it, and he wants to do it every time. So he's the ultimate professional.
And there is Best Pal. He is the even money favorite here on the morning line as he's being tacked up now by Gary Jones. It is official at Sportsman's Park in Cicero. Let's make the 1992 Illinois Derby official for you. Dignitas, 149, American Chance 2nd, and straight to bed 3rd. Dignitas, winner of the Rushaway at Turfway Park, was 3rd in the Derby trial, comes back to win the $500,000 Illinois Derby. Here is Twilight Agenda's 2nd choice now, the Pimlico Special. Ibero from Argentina. Celebrities here, and the gentleman in the cowboy hat. The guy who stands over all is Mel Blount. Of course, he's a 3-time All-Pro, member of the Hall of Fame, won 4 Super Bowl rings with, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those youngsters are part of his special boys' home. We have a nice feature coming up later on Mel Blount. Well, to give you a little more insight into this field, and a very special field it is for the Pimlico Special, let's go up to the roof now. Dave Johnson with a special guest.
With me is Tom Atwell, columnist for the Daily Racing Form. Tom, there seems to be 2 stories, one on the tote board and one in the past performances of the Daily Racing Form.
There definitely are 2 stories here. Best Pal has developed into a very dominant horse, and you'd have to think he'd be hard to beat, but he's going to have a much tougher task here. The first thing is a racetrack. He's encountering a racetrack which he did not like in 2 of his 3 workouts here. And in his last workout, he hooked a fast track. He was fine. Before that, he was working over drying out racetracks. He did not work fine.
And if he doesn't fire, who do you see coming to the winner's circle?
It's a situation, the weight spread makes this race very competitive to begin with. And if he can't get there, you've got to consider Twilight Agenda. He's a very, very good horse.
But you saw him walk off the van, and there was problem.
That is a problem. I watched him walk off the van. He was limping. Wayne Lucas assured me the horse's foot problem would be fine by today. I also talked to a prominent veterinarian here, Jim Stewart, who also said the horse could be fine, but it makes you worry.
Who's your pick?
Pest, there I'd have to go with Fly So Free. Scotty Schulhofer told me the horse didn't like the racetrack at Oaklawn. He's been tearing the racetrack up in his workout since. He's a threat.
Tom Atwell from the Daily Racing Form. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Dave. The favorite, Best Pal, 3-5. Chelsea?
Well, right now I have Craig Perrette with me, who will be riding Strike the Gold for the first time today. Brand new rider, brand new silk. You guys are pulling out all the stops to get this horse to win.
Well, we're trying to pull out something for him because, this horse has got a lot of talent. He has beaten Best Pal before. He looks like a tough horse to beat again today, but this horse just hasn't got on track this year, and we hope it's going to be today.
He's got a come-from-behind style. This is a track where you need speed. You can't temper with him too much, though. You're in a delicate position.
Well, I think it's too late to try and change his style and try to do something that he's not accustomed to. Just hopefully that he can jump up and run one of his big races, and he can really redeem himself in this spot.
All right, they got riders up. You better go to your horse, and good luck, Craig.
Thanks.
Brand new rider sometimes gives a horse a fresh attitude. Chris?
Well, I'll tell you, the people of Baltimore haven't given up on Strike the Gold. Right now, the 4-horse Strike the Gold is the second choice of the betting public here at 4-1. We'll be back. The post parade is straight ahead for the 1992 Pimlico Special from Baltimore. Our thoroughbreds are on the track for the Pimlico Special and set for the post parade for this 1992 running. Defensive play at 16-1. Owned and bred by Juddmonte Farms. Trained by Bobby Frankel. This son of Papiano, coming off a 4-length win in the New York in the Excelsior handicap, was third in the San Antonio, won the Struve a year ago, started his race career in England. The rider, young David Flores, 24-year-old native of Tijuana, Mexico, developing into a top young rider on the West Coast. The two horses, Twilight Agenda. He's earned 12 points in the American Championship Series so far. Montclair stud. Owns and bred him. D. Wayne Lucas trains him, has won the last two specials. Second in the San Diego handicap, third in the Oaklawn handicap, trying to surpass $2 million in earnings today. He is at 5-1 right now. The third choice, Chris McCarron, a Hall of Famer with a 4th and a 5th in the specials, is the rider today. The third horse, the Argentine bred, this is Ibero at 19-1. He was the 2-year-old champion of Argentina, won the San Antonio, second in the San Pasqual, 4th in the Big Cap. He likes it off track. He likes speed. Should be on the lead on this track today. Alex Solis, who just won the championship at Santa Anita, has the assignment. The 4-horse is Strike the Gold. Last year's Kentucky Derby winner, just purchased at the auction last Tuesday for $2.9 million. He is a second choice right now at 9-2. Trained by Nick Zito, and the rider is Craig Perrette. He won this special when it was renewed in 1988 when he rode Bet Twice. The 5-horse, our Keeneland Sale Purchase, is an $80,000 Keeneland horse. Fly So Free, the 1990 juvenile champion. He won 5 stakes at 3, 0 for 2 this year. Worked a super 1:10.6 furlong at Belmont for this race. He is currently on the board at 7-1. The rider, Jose Santos, he won the special on Criminal Type for D. Wayne Lucas in 1990. The 6-horse, this is the Maryland horse, Valley Crossing. Maryland bred and race, won the Native Dancer and the Jennings at Laurel, second in the John Campbell here, owned by Robert Meyerhoff, trained by Maryland trainer Dickie Small, and he is now at 21-1. The rider, Edgar Prado, a leading Maryland rider in 91, 287 wins here, 47 at the current Pimlico meeting to lead here. And here is the big horse, the #1 ranked thoroughbred in America, Best Pal. He is the product of 30 years of breeding of John and Betty Mabie of Golden Eagle Farm of California. Has earned over $1 million at 2, 3, and 4. Won his last 2 races in the series, and he is the heavy favorite at 3-5. The rider, Kent DeSomo, has already won 2 races today. He was last year's Eclipse Award winner as the nation's leading rider. Total field earnings, more than $10.7 million in this talented field of 7 going to the post for this, the 27th running of the Pimlico Special. Well, we told you, as expected, Best Pal the favorite. They're also betting Twilight Agenda and Strike the Gold. We're looking, of course, now for a Budweiser long shot, though, for the Pimlico Special.
Today's Budweiser long shot is the new and improved edition of Fly So Free. A racing star at 2 and 3, he was sick before his 4-year-old debut in Arkansas. Then he was 5th in the Oaklawn handicap, but he is better now. And we asked Scotty Schulhofer, is it a healthier, stronger, and faster Fly So Free here today?
Yes, Dave, I think he is. He's doing everything just great. I've never seen him do any better. he's training sensational, and I think it took him a couple of races to get back on track.
Is it you putting in fast works, or is it the horse naturally going fast by himself?
I don't usually work a horse anywhere near as fast as he's working, and it's not that we're asking him. He's doing it on his own, and it's very easy. He hadn't been asked for anything.
He gets a break in the weights, too, carrying 116. That's 10 pounds less than Best Pal. So number 5 flies so free, today's Budweiser long shot.
And on the tote board here, Fly So Free, the 5 horse, is at 7-1. So can the 2-year-old champion come back? Can last year's Kentucky Derby winner come back? Are they all chasing America's #1 ranked thoroughbred Best Pal? We'll answer these questions very shortly. ESPN welcomes you back to our coverage of the Pimlico Special on Budweiser Racing Across America. 4 minutes to post time. Here's Charles C. Candy.
Well, Chris, Pimlico Racecourse and the ACRS have a very special guest today. 4-time Super Bowl champion Mel Blount. Now, the former Pittsburgh Steeler now runs a farm for troubled inner city youngsters. And he was at the stable area this morning, and we asked him how the project was going.
We think that we're making a difference. We think that the program is a sound program. It's something that the kids need. We remove them from the inner cities, put them in an environment where they're not exposed to drugs and drive-by shootings and gangs, and we have them in an environment we feel that is conducive to what we're teaching, because what we want to do is teach these kids that they can be successful. Let them get that education. Let them learn about growing their crops and seeing about the animals, and really getting to know themselves.
Horses have always been a part of Mel Blount's life, whether growing up on a Georgia farm, competing in cutting horse events, or helping teach his program's values. And this morning at Pimlico, Mel, his wife Tianda, and several of his boys got a look at some high-powered horse flesh.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm just like these kids. It's been a big experience for me to see the horses like Best Pal and Strike the Goal and Defensive Play. All these horses are just tremendous athletes, and it's great horse flesh and great breeding, and obviously being around the jockeys like Chris McCarron and the trainers like Lucas, you're really at the top of the class in this business.
And everyone in this business would be proud to have the same success rate as the Mel Blount Youth Home.
From the program in Georgia, and this is based on the number of kids that has been through the program and the number of kids that are going out of the program and staying out of trouble. We're at 85%, and that's a pretty high percentage with the kind of work that we're doing. But I think if we just help one kid, if we just change one kid's life, the whole program has been worth it.
I'd say that pretty well describes All Pro. Our congratulations to Mel Blount. Glad to be involved in thoroughbred racing and helping him and his youngsters. Let's go upstairs now to Dave Johnson as they're approaching the starting gate for the Pimlico Special.
Well, you all know the story well. Strike the Gold won last year's Kentucky Derby, finished a close second in the Belmont, and then trouble started. Infighting among the owners, lawsuits, rumors, and a winless streak that has now reached 12 races. Well, last Tuesday, Strike the Gold went for a new beginning at Belmont Park. Strike the Gold wore hip number 95 in this special dispersal sale that included all horses in the BCC Gold stable. When the hammer fell at $2.9 million, original partners Bill Condren and Joe Cornacchia emerged victorious, effectively buying out dissident partner Giles Brophy. That result meant Strike the Gold was returned to his home, Barn 9, stall number 3 at Belmont Park, and remained in the care of his obviously elated trainer, Nick Zito.
I got a call from Lexington a little while ago, and everybody in there yelled out like with a roar, like he had won the Derby again. You know, that he wasn't going anywhere. He was staying in, you know, American hands, and staying in the barn where he came from, staying with his trainer, staying with his owners. So that's what counts.
And Zito also had some good wishes for future Strike the Golds.
And the only thing is that hopefully your sons and daughters don't have any controversy that you had. Hopefully they just go to school and be good students. Have no problems, so we're all right.
And that's my pick, Strike the Gold. He's got the big race in him. Let's see if it comes out today. And interestingly enough, the last time we checked, he was 2-1 in New York, 12-1 in California. Here at Pimlico, he's 6-1. Here's my pick, Strike the Gold.
Well, before we get a pick from Chelsea Kenny, Chelsea, a little comment about the one horse. Defensive play, Bobby Franco, always dangerous at a big stake.
Well, he is, but Bobby seemed to be a little bit less than optimistic. He was concerned about the track being wet here, and he says this horse has got great big feet, even though they're calling this track fast. There's still a lot of moisture in it.
And a pick?
For me, it's got to be Best Pal. He taught me out at the big cap. Nothing gets in his way. He wants to win. He marches his beat.
Best Pal, the 3-5 favorite. They're loading up. Let's go to the top of the stands. The man will call the Pimlico Special, Dave Johnson.
And Best Pal is in. We're ready for the start. Pimlico Special. 07. And they're off. And on the outside, Best Pal shows early Speedy Barrow, though, between horses, taking the early lead. Defensive play along the inside is next. Fly So Free is right there. And just behind, Twilight Agenda in the red cap. They passes for the first time in the Bud Long shot. Fly So Free on the outside, charges to the lead. Barrow along the inside is second. A defensive play tucked in at the rail is racing third. Then Best Pal on the outside is next. After that, it's Twilight Agenda. A gap of 3 to the local horse, Valley Crossing. And far back, last year's Kentucky Derby winner, Strike the Gold, 12 lengths off the leader. And the leader is Fly So Free. In front by half a length as he takes him onto the backstretch. Barrow on the inside, right there in the second spot. And the champ, Best Pal on the outside, is racing third. He's not been asked for his run yet. Defensive play moves through a close-up fourth. There goes Valley Crossing on the outside fifth. And between horses, Twilight Agenda looks for racing room. The top 6 are tightly bunched, and then it's 8 lengths back to Strike the Gold. They go to the far turn, tightly bunched after a half in 47 and 3. And it's still Fly So Free on the outside, but Barrow scoots through along the inside with Alex Solis, getting to the front by a head. Fly So Free again to the front on the outside. Best Pal is racing third on the extreme outside. Twilight Agenda is next. Middle of the racetrack, Valley Crossing is flying as they move to the quarter pole. It's still Fly So Free, game on the front end. Valley Crossing on the outside, Barrow at the rail. From between horses, Best Pal is in the middle of the racetrack. Here comes Strike the Gold, and down the stretch they come. Fly So Free on the inside. Strike the Gold out the middle of the racetrack with Craig Perret coming through the stretch and to the wire. It's Strike the Gold back in his winning fashion. The Derby winner from last year scores a tremendous victory here, beating the Bud Long shot on the wire. Fly So Free was second, and then it's a photograph. I believe Twilight Agenda finished third. Strike the Gold, the sentimental horse who won this race with the faith of his trainer and his jockey, is back to the winner's circle in 154 and 4.
Wow, does that put the period on the end of it? A story that was started on Tuesday with a sale. Only the second Kentucky Derby winner ever sold at public auction, Strike the Gold. The last one, of course, was Winning Colors, and Strike the Gold sold for $2.9 million. Joseph Carnascia, along with William Condren, had the faith in him, kept it with Nick Zito. Craig Perret said, I want to ride him, and the Kentucky Derby winner of a year ago has broken the 0-for-12 losing streak. Chelsea?
Well, and it's set up in classic style for him. There were 4 of these horses figured to show speed, and they did. And as they turned for home, there's Barrow. Fly So Free is living up to those works. Best Pal in the middle there. He's carrying 126, giving away a lot of weight. He had a rough trip. He makes a game try. But as they come through the stretch, the speed begins to fade, and look who's flying on the outside. He never even changes leads. Look at this horse. This looks like the Strike the Gold of old. There he is. Now he switches to the outside lead, but he's home free. His momentum is going to sweep him right by Fly So Free. Big comeback for these 2 prominent 3-year-olds of last year. Now they look more like themselves.
A 12-pound weight break for Strike the Gold over the favorite Best Pal, who did not hit the board this afternoon. There's just something about this Pimlico track he does not like. Just over a year ago, Strike the Gold, the Kentucky Derby winner, came to Pimlico, favored to win the Preakness, and ran a disappointing 6 of 8. He continued that string of disappointments through 12 races. But this man, the trainer Nick Zito, shaking hands there, never lost faith in his horse. He would not make excuses. He said Strike the Gold has not run any bad races. And even though people kept talking about 0-for-12, Nick realized that this year he had 5 starts. No wins for sure, but 3 seconds and a third. And Strike the Gold, with his performance this afternoon, is back, and the price of gold is back up. Dave Johnson, you didn't lose the faith either in this Kentucky Derby champion of a year ago. Congratulations. Got some gold today.
And, you know, turnabout is always fair play at the racetrack, and 13 isn't always an unlucky number, even though he was in his 13th race since the Kentucky Derby. Look how far back Strike the Gold is in the as they race down the backstretch. It was Best Pal and the Bud Longshot who turned in a heck of a performance in the light blue cap. Charges up to the front. He barrow sneaked through, but watch the back of the pack and watch Craig Perret, who rode this horse to a second place finish behind Fly So Free in the Florida Derby last year. Yep, this was the last time he was on and was in the Florida Derby, and he shows there is still life in his old legs. And forget about what happened. Now look to the rest of the series as Strike the Gold, who has dominated the sports pages this week, now dominates this ribbon of dirt racetrack on a cloudy Baltimore afternoon. Best Pal finishing fourth. Don't take anything away from this winner, Strike the Gold. And Fly So Free finishes second with Twilight Agenda and the favorite finishing third. Chris?
Strike the Gold back in the winner's circle and close to the $2 million mark in earnings. We'll be right back. The winner of the Pimlico Special, winner of the Kentucky Derby a year ago, the horse that broke the 0 for 12 string, Strike the Gold, is back. And our Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest recapping all the racing action, of course, previewing the Preakness Stakes. A special time this week, Wednesday, a night earlier, 5:30 Eastern Time. With me now, the man who is the Maryland Jockey Club, Joe DeFrancis. Joe, wow, what a great way to start Preakness week.
Oh, it's a great start for a spectacular week, and I couldn't be happier. The Strike the Gold people are all terrific people. Nick Zito and Joe Cornici and Bill Condren, and I'm really pleased that they won the race.
Big week coming up for you and for Pimlico.
Oh, it's going to be a great week for us. The Black-Eyed Susan, the Early Times Dixie on Friday, which will be carried on ESPN, right. And then the Preakness on Saturday. Looks like it's going to have the best field in about 30 years, so we're very excited.
Well, Joe handled the promos for us, too. The Black-Eyed Susan, the Great Filly Race, the Dixie Handicap, continuing the Early Times Classic. That's Friday. Then we'll be here to preview the Preakness Stakes, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, and it really puts the focus on Maryland racing, Joe.
Well, it does. This is the time of year when we shine, and the weather's been very cooperative. It's supposed to be a great week coming up, and so we're all very excited, Chris.
Well, Joe DeFrancis has some work to do here with the Lieutenant Governor of the state here to make some presentation. We'll let them get to that, and we'll be talking more about this race. And again, Dave Johnson, it was some kind of finish there. Strike the Gold, the winner of the Pimlico Special. There's the famed Pimlico Special trophy. We'll be back to take a closer look at this race, talk with the winners.
Strike the Gold had been looked on by some as damaged merchandise, but he came out of the clouds to win it in 154-4 from last to first and pay $14.60, $5.40, and $4.60. And he certainly won a major race here in 1992 this year and improved his breeding fee, I'm sure, too. Fly So Free was second at $8.20 and $6. Twilight Agenda, $4.40. The 4-5 Exacta, $119 even. Strike the Gold. The entire order of finish will be coming up in just a moment. Right now, let's take a look here. Strike the Gold, Fly So Free, Twilight Agenda, Best Pal, Valley Crossing made a big move on the far turn. Defensive play was 60. Bureau was 7th. Let's go to Chris Link.
Well, it's a scramble here on the cupola of the Preakness. Craig Perret has just dashed off. He's got another mount. But the man who's here and the man who deserves so much credit, the guy who never gave up on his Kentucky winner, Strike the Gold, Nick Zito. Nick, you dropped the trophy coming in here. It's been that long?
Yeah, but I caught it, didn't I, Chris? I didn't let it get away from me. I want to thank God first, and more importantly, I want to thank Strike the Gold for having the heart and the courageous. He's just a courageous animal.
Tell us about the race, how it's set up for you, Nick. I know you've always said he needed some speed in front of him.
Well, I've been saying it all along. And Preakness Day last year, believe me, you know, if we had taken him back and make the run, he'd have run the same way. He's just got a lot of class and a lot of heart. He just needs a fast pace, and he's coming back into himself again. And I can't say enough about the horse. And Craig Perret, what could I say? Professional job. I wish Chris was here, because he should have enjoyed it with me, too. But Craig Perret is a professional rider, and Strike the Gold, let me tell you something, Chrissy. Strike the Gold has what all thoroughbred needs. He's got heart and desire, and that's what this game's all about, buddy.
So does his trainer, too, Nick Zito. So do the owners of Canadian, Mr. Conner. Congratulations to them. Charles C. Kennedy, let's take another look at the race and that heart and desire that Nick talked about.
We want to point out a little trouble Best Pal had around the turn there. You see him in the maroon and yellow in between Flasso Free right there and Valley Crossing. Now, he gets kind of bumped around here. Remember, he's giving away 4 to 15 pounds to the rest of these horses on a track he may not like so much. And he squeezes his way through one jab, still continues to try. Talk about heart and courage. He still tries to carry that big package and get back up to the front, but he begins to kind of, the weight gets to him here, and he's taken a toll with the problems he had earlier in the race. Not today for Best Pal, but he was a question mark over this track.
All right, there is a look at Strike the Gold as he breaks the 0 for 12 string. Go to Dave Johnson.
History repeated itself this afternoon here at Pimlico. No favorite since it was renewed has won the Pimlico Special, and no high weight. So Best Pal, a magnificent animal, joins the likes of Unbridled, Ali Sheba, and Summer Squall. But it's Strike the Gold who went to the winner's circle and got the gold again. Chris?
William Condra and Joe Carnacci are here with us, and they deserve to have some recognition here. They paid $2.9 million to keep Strike the Gold. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris.
Tell us about it now. It had to be an incredible feeling.
My legs are still shaking. I couldn't believe it.
Congratulations, gentlemen. These are the two men also who kept the faith in Strike the Gold. Rewarded today, winning the Pimlico Special, and now on in the American Championship Series. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris.
Congratulations. Coming up on ESPN this Sunday, it's Indianapolis Time Trial. There's more horsepower. The Brickyard in Indianapolis. Time trial coverage live at 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock Eastern on Sunday here on ESPN. Strike the Gold as he did in the Kentucky Derby, driving up from the outside and beats Fly So Free at the wire to win the Pimlico Special. Brought to you this afternoon by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Wagner, makers of quality power painters, power rollers, power washers. By Womack International, winning the world over. And by the Thoroughbred Racing Associations, assuring the highest racing standards. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental for reservations at over 700 locations worldwide. Call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. Charts and statistics courtesy of the Daily Racing Form, America's Turf Authority. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winter Communications. A racing doubleheader today. Strike the Gold wins the Pimlico Special here at Pimlico and returns to the winner's circle for Nick Zito. But Best Pal keeps the series lead in points.